Heterosexuals have the right to get married according to their orientation, but homosexuals, why shouldn't they have the same right?
Okay, what he said is that heterosexuals have a right to get married according to their orientation. Why can't homosexuals have a right to marry according to their orientation?
I think that's a common misconception because heterosexuals can't get married according to their orientation or sexual desires. People can get married based upon their inborn design. I mean, I don't mean to be crass, but men and women's body parts fit together to become a single organism for the purpose of creating children. And you know, it's very similar to the function of the heart to pump blood throughout the body. I mean, it's a biological function. And then once the child's born, it's the unique gender differences of men and women that are necessary to raise a child in such a way that allows them to become full functioning members of society. And every study on parenting has proven this. It says they all say that children do best psychologically, emotionally, socially, even physically when they're raised by the parents who conceived them in the context of marriage. And historically, that's been the purpose of marriage. And marriage has existed throughout history, it's existed in every society, and it's always been for the purpose of bearing and raising children in the best atmosphere possible.
Let's talk about the orientation issue, because he brought up an interesting word about orientation that, and you're saying really we have a right to marry based on gender difference, not orientation. But let's say we did that. Let's say it was about orientation. What would happen?
Yeah, so let's just say sexual orientation or sexual attractions were the basis upon which we were allowed to marry, then pedophiles would have to be allowed to marry 6, 7, 8-year-olds. The man from Massachusetts who petitioned to marry his horse after marriage was instituted in Massachusetts, he'd have to be allowed to do so. Mothers and sons, sisters and brothers, any combination would have to be allowed.
So I think we have to understand the big picture and what does the Word of God say. And if you're talking about just love, then anything goes, and then you throw out all rules, and then dominoes start happening. So we have to understand the big picture, understand there's a big strategy. Remember, our enemy is not people. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against rulers, authorities, and principalities in the heavenly places. Satan understands how to break down the family and break down the culture and destroy the image of God. So it's a way bigger than just these two people loving each other. Because if love is only the criteria, then anything will go.